Welcome along then to the streets of Baku, the capital city of Azerbaijan, and the 2017 Formula One Azerbaijan Grand Prix. For the first time ever in Formula One, Azerbaijan has its name on a Grand Prix, and we have flown 5,545 miles from Montreal here to the shores of the Caspian Sea just to be here. The heat has very much been turned up, as it was in qualifying yesterday, with Mercedes on the tarmac turning up the heat on Ferrari. Someone's brakes smoking away on the grid from the midfield. But it's lights out and away we go. Valtteri Bottas pointing towards Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton gets away well though and cuts Bottas off down the inside. Goes Sebastian Vettel, tries to get the car under control and loses out to Kimi Räikkönen, so stays in fourth in the Toro Rosso. Going wide there, and that is Carlos Sainz from 14th on the grid. And
contact.
Oh, look, contact there. Kimi Räikkönen has had contact with one of the Red Bulls, I think it is.
I thought it was a Mercedes.
If it wasn't Mercedes, it is Valtteri Bottas. You're right. Valtteri Bottas having a poor start there as I was looking for Carlos Sainz. Another one with a poor start. Down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo on Lance Stroll, but he doesn't quite make the move stick. And it's Hamilton out in front here in Baku, but his teammate Valtteri Bottas in trouble, and they're all squirming around looking for grip. And this is the problem Valtteri Bottas has got with his front right tyre.
A long way to go from there as well to the end of the lap. Second longest circuit in the championship on the calendar. 6 kilometres long. Spa is the only longer one at 7 kilometres. He's got a long way to bring that car back to the pits.
This is what happened to Carlos Sainz. Now, I think he tangled here with his teammate, Danny Kvyat. There goes Kvyat running wide, and as he comes back onto the track, that's just enough to put Sainz off.
Yeah, I think Sainz was wrong-footed by that, but as he lit it up with torque...
Yeah, Danny came back like a madman through the track.
He just spun up the rear wheels, and around it went. Here we go then, the two Finnish drivers. And that's a heavy contact on the Ferrari as well, which I think then went off to hit the wall for good measure.
Now,
that was...
I'll tell you what happened with Bottas. He clipped the curb, didn't he?
He did.
And that
jumped off the curb.
Shunted him right.
Yeah.
And he had no chance of avoiding Räikkönen.
Let's see if Kimi's got... I think Kimi left him enough space, and you can't vanish. He just about left him enough space, and as you say, a little hop across the curb, and the inevitable.
3.2 seconds between the man second in the championship and the man leading the championship. Sergio Perez keeping pace with Sebastian Vettel, only 1.9 seconds behind him. We look a little bit further back. Nico Hülkenberg under pressure here, and slicing his way through the field, car number 77, Valtteri Bottas, but he is a lap down, of course. Into the pits now comes Daniel Ricciardo.
Okay, Daniel, brakes are now fine, everything is okay. We had some debris in the brake scoop and everything got very hot very quickly. So now debris is clear, you are free to race, let's go. Understood.
There goes Carlos Sainz on the Sauber. There goes Daniel Ricciardo on Carlos Sainz and the Sauber. So Marcus Ericsson goes down into 15th. Carlos Sainz now 14th. And Daniel Ricciardo's cleared 2 cars in the process of about 100 metres.
That'll need a virtual safety car. It's not really, I don't think it's in harm's way, personally. But he is.
Just on the exit of turn 12.
Oh, no, issue with the engine.
Verstappen has a loss of power, not totally, but something has gone wrong, and he is being passed by the other Force India now. Kimi Räikkönen's got past him, Massa and Esteban Ocon as well, and oh, not again for Max Verstappen. The safety car is coming out, and that might just now see a lot of activity in the pit lane as well. So there goes Hamilton. Also coming in Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton in and out with a 3-second stationary stop.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it,
yeah,
to stop now.
They're all filing in Perez and Räikkönen as well.
So will Ocon have to wait behind this car? No, is the answer to that.
Max, that is the end for us. I'm sorry about that.
And confirmation then, 4 retirements in the last 6 races for Max Verstappen, who's just getting absolutely no luck whatsoever at this moment in time. Right, here we go then, safety cars peeling away. Now, who has got some temperature in their tyres and brakes to make it through turn one, because that could be quite tricky for all the cars as they go racing once again here in Baku as fast as they dare. And look at that, there's the Force India of Sergio Perez right behind Sebastian Vettel. Pulls out now alongside the Ferrari, and he's going to try and out-drag him down towards turn one. Hamilton leads, Perez is just ahead. Oh, there's the Williams ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, and Esteban Ocon's got past Raikkonen, who's got damage once again to his front wing, and bits have flown off that front wing. Vettel just stays ahead of Sergio Perez. Then comes Felipe Massa and Esteban Ocon and Kimi Raikkonen. Behind Raikkonen comes Lance Stroll as well, but Kimi in a little bit of trouble and losing downforce because of more damage to that front wing. Hamilton then, towards the end now of the next long straight, has managed to negotiate the first three corners and keep his lead from Sebastian Vettel, but Vettel under huge pressure there from Sergio Perez.
It was an important move for the World Championship leader to keep that place, because he got caught napping a little bit, and I imagine they wouldn't be completely flat out through those last kinks onto the pit straight.
Safety car again, Martin. Safety car again. That's Sebastian Vettel and Sergio Perez in the foreground. Massa has got ahead of Raikkonen. Ocon now ahead of Raikkonen. That's where things start to let go from the Ferrari barge board.
I'd be really nervous through with that really quick section just as they come onto the pit straight through between the walls. As how much grip have you got? You just don't know.
Vettel is desperate here not to let Sergio Perez come within an extra millimetre of his rear wing, trying to get as much of an advantage as he can. Look, this is down at turn 15. Lewis is backing up the pack a little bit. And, he went into him. He might have lost a bit of front wing there, Sebastian Vettel. And he's saying to Hamilton, what did you do? You stamped on the brakes, and I might have damage now on my front wing as a result of it.
He brake tested me. What the is going on?
Understood, we're reporting it. Focus on
I have damage, I think.
The last time I can recall anyone doing something like this was Pastor Maldonado to Lewis Hamilton at Spa after qualifying. He did drive into it.
He did. Incredible.
So did Hamilton turn his steering wheel towards Vettel? No, he doesn't.
Vettel literally just came alongside me and turned in and hit me.
Hamilton then leads them down the straight. Sergio Perez already pulling out to the right-hand side. He's after Vettel. Felipe Massa's after Vettel. And as we see Sebastian Vettel under pressure now down the inside, goes Felipe Massa in the Williams. Can't quite get past him, but he still might hang on in there. The two Force India scrapping away. Perez has lost a place to Massa, and Vettel somehow manages to hang on to second place. Well done, Massa, as the two Force Indias collide there, and there's big damage to Perez's front wing.
Both damaged.
You're right, Esteban Ocon might have a puncture there in his right rear as well. But the two Force Indias allowed to race by their team, and they've come a cropper there as Massa still continues to press the Ferrari.
Felipe Massa thought he was going to be retired this year. Here he is, fighting in a podium place and all over the back of the Ferrari. We've seen pieces flying off the Ferrari. Will we need another safety car to pick up that debris? I think when Vettel pulled up alongside Hamilton, they may actually have touched again.
Certainly something flew off the front wing. It looked like a Vettel's Ferrari.
Oh, definitely. No doubt about that at all.
And is Raikkonen in trouble here as well?
Looks a bit like a puncture the way his steering's handling. Yes, it is. Right rear puncture.
Oh, he's down in 15th already, Kimi Raikkonen.
Safety car.
For the third time in quick succession, another safety car. This is turning into a dramatic afternoon on the streets of Baku. And the two Force India as well. The debrief is going to be a bit feisty tonight in the Force India garage. Big puncture there for Ocon.
Yeah.
What did Esteban do, guys?
Ocon got onto the curb in the same way Bottas did to Raikkonen. Ocon took too much curb.
And then Kimi just ran over this debris, and that is what punctured his tyre.
The red flag is being shown and deployed, and on lap 22, the racing will stop for a while. There's the yellow flags, no overtaking just yet. They've not reached the safety car line. Hamilton's still weaving about. Now he stamps on his brakes a little bit as the safety car peels back into the pits, and we can get racing. Hamilton then ahead of Sebastian Vettel, ahead of Felipe Massa and his teammate Lance Stroll. And this time, Lance Stroll now makes a move on Felipe Massa, and Daniel Ricciardo's in that fight, and Nico Hülkenberg as well. And Massa's getting swallowed up by the pack, and down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo. What a move from the Australian. He's picked up a couple of places in one corner. Hamilton from Vettel, from Daniel Ricciardo, then comes Lance Stroll and Felipe Massa and Nico Hülkenberg. And after Hülkenberg comes Kevin Magnussen and Carlos Sainz and Romain Grosjean, completing the top 10, and Hülkenberg fancies a go at Felipe Massa, who may well have problems out there because he's getting caught. And will he get past? No, just blocks off Hülkenberg going into the left-hander. Stroll's got past Massa, Hülkenberg's hanging around. Whoa, great control.
Right, brilliant, mate. Stay focused. Let's keep it smooth now. Stay ahead.
Ocon 13th and Bottas 14th after both have had their problems on the streets of Baku today. Right, how fast is this Renault engine? Felipe Massa's in trouble here. Here comes Nico Hülkenberg. Massa's been passed again, and he might get caught here by Kevin Magnussen as well. Magnussen fancies going down the inside. Can he do what Ricciardo did? Yes, he can. Oh, squirming away. Nico Hülkenberg nearly loses it coming out of turn one. And there's the McLaren of Fernando Alonso getting involved there on his former teammate as well. Massa has got problems.
There's something wrong with the front suspension on Massa's car. You can see it down the straight. It looks so rigid almost. And I think that's hurting him. Something's going on there with Massa's car.
Yeah, Alonso's now past him as well. Oh dear, oh dear.
Very strange, man. I don't know what's happened. The car is shaking completely. Very difficult to drive.
Okay, so it's a broken rear damper. Got a rear damper that's broken.
And there's a problem there for Nico Hülkenberg. Look at that front right tyre. He's out of this race, and he's made contact with a wall, or he's made contact with another car. This is what's happened to Hülkenberg. Clonk the wall. Oh dear.
Oh, he'll hate it when he watches that one back on the video.
Front wing.
Disappointment for Felipe Massa, out of this race. His second DNF in a matter of races. On board with race leader Lewis Hamilton, who's just set the new fastest lap of the race. He's 2.6 seconds ahead of Sebastian Vettel. And there was no problem with his headrest.
Yes,
is that
there is.
not attached properly? Oh, it's not, Martin.
It's not.
Now that is not going to work itself back down again whilst that car is driving at high speed. And Sebastian Vettel has got a 10-second stop-go penalty for dangerous driving. The stewards have decided that Vettel driving into Hamilton is worthy of a 10-second stop-go penalty. So whilst Lewis Hamilton comes in and thinks that all is lost here, maybe for the lead or for a reduction in the championship lead today, it might not be lost just yet.
That's a half a minute that's going to cost Vettel. Stop-go for the full 10 seconds. Ricciardo and Stroll are now fighting for this Grand Prix victory.
Oh,
what a race.
He will be in front of Hamilton. We'll be tied with Hamilton. We need everything.
Hamilton coming down the main straight, we can see there Kevin Magnussen, behind him Esteban Ocon, there's Fernando Alonso, there's Valtteri Bottas, here comes Sebastian Vettel, Sergio Perez, and he is just ahead of Lewis Hamilton with the lapped Sergio Perez in between them. Alonso and Vettel into turn one. Alonso defends for all his might. Alonso stays ahead of Sebastian Vettel. And now Lewis Hamilton switches to the inside. Thought about it for a moment. Now Sebastian Vettel goes down the inside, gets past Fernando Alonso. Has Hamilton got some decent acceleration and traction out of turn two to power down that straight and get past Alonso? He has. So Sebastian Vettel still ahead of Hamilton, but for how much longer? Well, they're going to have to survive that order for a few more corners to go, because Hamilton now up into 7th, Vettel up into 6th, and Fernando Alonso down into 8th.
Steady lap from Ricciardo up front, and why might that be? He's not in traffic.
Right, here's Ocon and Bottas. Ocon was in the podium places, not anymore. Valtteri Bottas, who tangled with Kimi Räikkönen on the second corner, is now back up into the podium places. Bottas, the fastest man on the track at the moment, though he's got 12 seconds to make up on Lance Stroll. Ted, down to you.
I'm looking across the pit lane to Paddy Lowe and Rob Smedley on the Williams pit wall, and they're just nervously looking at the lap times. Stroll is responding to Bottas's fastest laps, but it's not enough. It's not enough to keep P2 at the moment by the end of the race. It looks like Bottas is going to be right with him in about 8 or 9 laps' time.
If he can keep it to a second a lap difference, he's all right.
There goes Sebastian Vettel on Esteban Ocon. Sorry, Martin, into turn 1. He's picked off another place, has Sebastian Vettel. Fastest lap of the race from Valtteri Bottas as we're on board with Lewis Hamilton, and that's Esteban Ocon ahead of him, and Hamilton's going to go and try around the outside into turn 1 of Esteban Ocon. He's putting faith and trust in the French driver there that he doesn't get squeezed into the wall, and it wasn't by much that he managed to navigate it. Hamilton is up into 5th place.
Risky, brave, but it worked.
What a 51 laps this has been in Baku here this evening. But for Daniel Ricciardo, Baku will see him back on the top step of the podium. A crazy, chaotic, amazing race, full of incidents. For Daniel Ricciardo, the checkered flag is there. He wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Behind him, Lance Stroll. Has he been overtaken by Valtteri Bottas? Just on the line, Bottas gets second. A podium for Lance Stroll, but Bottas, who was a lap down and plumb last after the opening exchanges, has come back to take second place. Williams get their first podium since Bottas stood on the podium for them in Canada last year. Sebastian Vettel just holds off Lewis Hamilton by 0.2 of a second. And I tell you what, second or third, they might not care down at Williams. The fact is, Lance Stroll gets his first podium in Formula One. Sebastian Vettel will extend his championship lead to 14 points, but it wasn't the championship contenders who finished on the podium, but it's a podium full of smiles and passion after a great race here in Baku. And for Daniel Ricciardo, the season has come alive here this evening.
Yeah, it was a crazy race. We knew the podium was a chance after the restart, but then, we heard obviously the problems with Lewis and Seb, and it was just a crazy race. I made an unplanned pit stop at the beginning. After a few laps, we had some debris, I think, in the brakes, so we had to stop and clean it, and we dropped back to, I think, 17th place. So did I think then I would win today? Absolutely not. I would have put all my money on it that this was very unlikely, but yeah, crazy race. This is the race we expected last year, with all the safety cars and all the chaos, and we got it this year.